had the great privilege of sitting in the circuit court for 13 years, primarily in Franklin, where I was the presiding judge, but I sat all over the state, and I had the opportunity to sit on abuse and neglect cases, and heard every abuse and neglect case for 13 years in Franklin. And my experience with CASA is nothing but positive. I can tell you that I was a practicing lawyer before I became a judge, and did representation in abuse and neglect cases. And in large part in the North Country, where it was very difficult to find CASA guardian ad litems. In fact, at that point in time, there weren't any up there in the North Country. And I can tell you that once CASA became involved in starting doing abuse and neglect cases, professionalism came to those cases. They were much more effective, better trained, and better prepared to do a good job for kids. When I first became a judge, I went to this conference on abuse and neglect, and there was a speaker there. It was a young lady. She was in college at the time, and she had been removed from her home when she was young, and from her mother's home. Her mother was alcoholic at the time, and she was talking, and her message was, love is not enough. And she said, she was placed in any number of foster homes during her childhood, and the Child Protective Services in that state just thought, if they just found the right home for her and just found somebody to love her, that would be all that she needed. And she said, love just isn't enough. What I needed was, I needed an advocate. I needed someone to make a difference in my life. I needed a voice to make a difference in my life. And that's what CASA does. CASA makes a difference. What you do is you have people who aren't there because they're looking for money. They're there because they want to make a difference in a child's life. That is so important. I can tell you from experience, I retired as a judge. I turned 70. You're required to retire when you're 70 as a judge here in New Hampshire. I retired, and I was retired for a couple of years, and then I got a call once, and it was from a lady, and who I didn't know really or remember, and she said, you don't remember me, but I'm just calling to thank you, and thank you because we just adopted these 3 kids. And she talked about the court and being in court. It was a abuse and neglect proceeding, and they had been she and her husband had been foster parents. And the division had decided that they wanted to place the kids with someone other than them. They wanted the kids wanted to stay with them, but the division decided that there was a better family that was prepared. And so the kids got it. But the guardian ad litem, the CASA guardian ad litem, said was opposed to that. She wanted them to stay with that family, but they ended up going with a new family. But the CASA insisted that in the order that if the new family didn't work out, that the kids would be placed with them. And so it put that in the order at the time, that if the new family doesn't work out, they're to be placed with that family. And of course, the new family didn't work out. They got placed with the original foster family who cared for them and wanted to have them, and who the kids wanted to be with. And so she was just calling to say that. And that's the difference that CASA can make. One of the things in my court, I always used to tell the guardian ad litems, the one thing I don't want your report to say is I agree with the division. What I want your report to say what I want you to do is do an independent evaluation of the circumstances. I want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to hear what the division has to say and just have you rubber stamp it. And the CASAs always did that. They did a great job at that. And I know in their training they learned that that was what they were supposed to do. Always appreciate it. You heard the quote from Judge Jasinski earlier. You know, the system doesn't work without the CASA guardians ad litem. And they are so important. Your work is so important and so appreciated. We really need the CASA guardians ad litem. I can't be more supportive. The court system can't be more supportive, I can tell you that. And I appreciate being here today to be able to say that. Thank you very much.